Hey everyone, Brian from GardenMinutes.com here. We've been getting a lot of questions about plant spacing in the garden grid. Basically, how many plants can you grow per garden grid square? And more or less, it's going to vary based on the different types of things that you're growing. The garden grid is best used for a square foot gardening style plant spacing method, which basically means you're going to plant by area as opposed to rows. That way you can grow more in a condensed space. Now, if you head over to the blog page on our website, we have a plant spacing guide that has over 60 plants on it at this time, and their different plant spacing needs. What I'm going to do though in the meantime is take you into our garden, show you what we're growing and the different plant spacing needs for those plants. Okay, first things first, we have okra. Okra, as you can see here, is grown one plant per garden grid square. Then right next to that, we have our bush beans, aka green beans. They are grown 4 plants per garden grid square. So you can see on these younger plants right here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 inside of one garden grid square. Okay, so over here we have one of everybody's favorites. We have tomato plants. These, of course, are still seedlings, but tomatoes are grown 1 per garden grid square. And lastly, we have our watermelon section of our garden. Watermelon, cantaloupe, and other melon varieties are unique in that they are grown 1 every other garden grid square. So as you can see here, we have a plant, no plant, plant, no plant, and so on through the rest of this garden grid, basically making a checkerboard pattern. The reason we plant like this is to allow for enough space for the foliage, fruit, and of course, the root structure that grows underneath the soil. So just as a little cheat sheet along with our plant spacing guide, of course, if you're going to grow okra in your garden grid, plant 1 per garden grid square. If you're growing green beans, aka bush beans, aka snap beans, you're going to grow 4 per garden grid square. Watermelon, you're going to grow 1 every other garden grid square. And tomatoes, 1 per garden grid square.